Hello, friends. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about something that I think an entire generation is quietly carrying. And honestly, many older generations can feel it too, even if they struggle to fully understand it. There are so many young adults right now who are doing everything they were told to do. They completed the education. They are trying. They are applying. They are scrolling opportunities. They're making plans, starting over, trying again. From the outside, it can look like life is moving, but internally, many feel suspended somewhere between adolescence and adulthood. They're not quite children anymore, but they're not quite fully rooted adults either. And the emotional experience underneath that is difficult to describe unless you have lived it. There's effort without arrival, movement without direction, the persistent feeling of standing just outside the life that is supposed to be beginning. We have so many names for this now. Quarter-life crisis, emerging adulthood, failure to launch. But underneath all those labels is a deeper reality. Something in the process of becoming has been disrupted. Now, once again, oddly enough, one of the clearest illustrations of this comes from the Universe 25 experiment. When John Calhoun's mouse colony became overcrowded, something unusual began happening with the younger generation. The older mice already occupied the social roles. The territories were taken, the structure was saturated, and the younger mice came of age in a world where there was no clear place for them to step into meaningful participation. What happened next was not explosive rebellion. It was withdrawal. Many of the young mice stopped engaging socially. They stopped pursuing mates. They stopped participating in the work of the colony. Calhoun referred to some of them as the beautiful ones. They were physically healthy, well-groomed, externally fine, but completely disengaged from meaningful contribution. And honestly, that phrase feels hauntingly relevant today because there are many young adults who appear outwardly functional while internally feeling disconnected from purpose, identity, and direction. And importantly, the problem in Universe 25 was not a lack of resources. It was a lack of meaningful pathways into participation. And that distinction matters deeply. A young person today can have access to education, technology, supportive parents, endless information, and still feel profoundly stuck. Not because they are lazy, not because they do not care, but because they do not know where or how they meaningfully fit into society. For most of the human history, societies had clear transitions into adulthood. There were apprenticeships, marriage, family trades, initiation rites, community recognition. There were visible moments when a person crossed from dependence into responsibility. And importantly, everyone around them recognized that crossing too. The individual knew it, the community knew it, the role was tangible. But much of that structure has disappeared in our society today, and I think we underestimate how psychologically disorienting that is. Jehovah created human beings to mature through increasing responsibility. Children learn by doing life alongside older people. Young adults discover identity through contribution. Identity was never meant to emerge from endless, isolated self-analysis. It forms in the friction of commitment, responsibility, participation, service. But modern culture often gives young adults something very different: unlimited options and almost no structure. And honestly, freedom without direction is not always liberating. Sometimes it is paralyzing. Modern society has created an environment where young adults are told they can become almost anything. And at first glance, that sounds empowering, but human beings are not designed to navigate infinite possibilities without an orienting framework, because every choice now feels enormous. Choosing a career means closing off countless others. Choosing a city means leaving another behind. Choosing a partner means not choosing someone else. Choosing values means rejecting alternatives. And when identity feels unstable, every decision carries unbearable emotional weight. Underneath many delayed decisions is not laziness, it is fear. Fear of choosing wrong, fear of becoming trapped, fear of committing more before fully finding yourself. And here's the difficult truth: identity is rarely discovered before commitment. More often, identity is formed through commitment, through choosing, through building, through carrying responsibility long enough for character to emerge inside it. And honestly, I think we need to talk more openly about how painful this experience actually is, because cultural responses tend to swing between two extremes. Either they just need to grow up, or, oh, everything is fine, everyone moves at their own pace. Neither response is fully honest. The first ignores the structural reality shaping this generation, and the second minimizes the genuine suffering. Many young adults feel intense shame during this stage of life. They see peers whom seem established. They watch milestones happening around them, and they interpret their own uncertainty as personal failure. They feel time passing, pressure building, and purpose slipping further away. And many are quietly battling anxiety, depression, emotional exhaustion, and hopelessness underneath the surface. This is not dramatics. It is what happens when human beings exist inside a formation gap for too long. And honestly, naming that reality matters, because clarity about the problem is the beginning of meaningful hope. Now, here's the paradoxical truth at the center of all this. Responsibility is not the opposite of freedom. Responsibility is what makes freedom livable. Contribution grounds people. When someone has a real role, something meaningful that others depend on, identity begins stabilizing in ways endless self-exploration cannot provide. People often discover who they are by discovering what they are capable of carrying. Purpose frequently emerges through responsibility, not before it. And this does not require having your entire life figured out. It often begins very small. A commitment honored consistently, a skill offered to serve others, a responsibility taken seriously, a relationship nurtured faithfully. Small crossings, but each one builds the capacity for the next. And mentorship matters deeply here too. Young adults do not primarily need more information, they need embodied guidance. Someone ahead of them saying, this road feels uncertain, but you can walk it. And honestly, the erosion of intergenerational relationships has cost modern society more than we fully realize. People need proximity. They need wisdom, presence, not just content. One of the hardest truths about being stuck in this, clarity often comes after movement, not before it. Most people are waiting to feel certain before they step forward, but life rarely works that way. And this is actually a deeply Hebraic principle. The Israelites did not receive the full map before moving. They received the next step. And the presence of Jehovah alongside them, identity formed in motion, not in paralysis. And honestly, that is still true today. The young adult who feels stuck is often waiting for permission to begin before they fully understand where the road leads. But adulthood is not entered through perfect certainty. It is entered through faithful participation. One chosen direction, one commitment, one next faithful step at a time. And courage grows through movement, especially when people are surrounded by relationships that remind them that they are capable before they fully believe it themselves. If you are listening to this today and you feel stuck, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not. You don't have to be. You are living inside a cultural formation gap that very few people are naming honestly. That does not mean you have to stay there. It means you stop interpreting the difficulty as proof that something is fundamentally wrong with you. Movement creates clarity, not the other way around. And the path into adulthood is not primarily built through achievement. It is built through contribution, through relationship, through responsibility, and through faithfulness, through carrying something real, serving someone real, showing up consistently long enough for identity to form inside the life you are actively living. Jehovah forms people in motion. He always has. So take the next faithful step, not because you have all the answers, but because formation happens there. Thanks for being here with me today, friends. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who may need the reminder that being stuck does not mean being broken. Until next time, keep walking gently, intentionally, and wholeheartedly, and stay healthy in heart.